Hi YouTubers, so I'm going to do today's video right now. So I'm smoking a big ass cigar, some big ass cigar for life, and I'm doing a video right now. So it's actually a Quorum cigar, so a nice big ass cigar. Now, I said a while back when I stopped smoking Flor de Olivia because they were kind of tarry. So I mean, all smoke has tar, tobacco smoke, marijuana smoke, opium smoke, but I don't like smoke that has too much tar. So, I mean, the Flor de Olivia is really kind of nasty. So, they're cheap, and some of them are good. It's kind of like a diamond in the rough. Some of them are decent, Some of them are, decent, but a lot of them are just really tight draws. You get a stroke and just trying to get a draw off it. So, it's kind of like, they're not really worth the price. And Quorum's, while they may be cheaper, a lot cheaper, actually a hell of a lot cheaper, they're actually a lot better. So, in general, Quorums, I find, while they may have not as a good taste in general, or they may not be the best cigars in the world, they are actually better. So, this is actually going to be a pretty important ramble, so it's actually going to be an interesting story as of December 9th, 2016. I can't believe it's already December 9th, 2016. Pretty amazing. The year is flying by. We have less than a month away till 2017. Pretty cool. And it's almost Christmas, so I will be doing a Christmas haul as usual. So, Christmas haul 2016. So, that's pretty cool. Can't believe it. So, it feels like just like yesterday I did my Christmas haul 2015. So, I'll have to borrow my dad's camera, and I will do the video. So, anyway. So I want to talk about something very interesting. So interesting story, quick ramble here. I'm almost at 4,000 videos. I have less than 10 videos till I hit 4,000. Pretty cool. So I want to talk about right now something interesting. So this might be a little bit controversial. So if you're not into watching videos that are very controversial, please click off right now. Nothing private. Like, I'm not giving out credit card information. Obviously, you get the point. I'm not explain things. I mean, you get the point. So what I was going to talk about is basically, was a very quick, interesting story. Not going to make this video too long, 10, 15 minutes long, maybe. I'm not sure. Again, you're not watching long videos, click off right now. So I'm going to smoke a nice big ass cigar. So basically, as most people know, I live with my parents still. So, and people say you're way too old to be living with your parents. But in my opinion, I am very happy with my parents. So, and people know why. I mean, people who really care about my videos and really like my videos know why. They know I'm not a high school dropout. They know I'm not somebody who's mooching off my parents and live in my parents' basement. They know I'm not a mama's boy. They know it's because I have a lot of special needs. So, what I was going to talk about is, so in the last couple, probably, I'd say 6 months or so, we've been trying to look for a possible apartment. So, obviously I'm not interested in living with my parents. I'm 45 years old. Obviously, that's really weird and creepy, like saying I look 14 years old. So, I mean, obviously you get the point. So, I don't live with my parents until I'm 45, 50 years old. So, what I'm going to say was, we're looking for my, apartment, and let's just say I have some help. I'm not going to say who's helping me besides my parents. Just going to say there's people who are helping. Kind of like I have mentors in my job search, so I am looking for a new job. Haven't told anybody yet, so, I'm looking for a job in an office. I really want to work in an office, doing, clerk work, secretary work, clerical work, you get the point. So, something like a mentoring agency is helping me. Not going to say what it is. That's confidential. So, what I was going to say was, basically, we're looking for possible apartments, because one problem with finding me an apartment, I'm not going to get too much into this, is I don't make a whole lot of, let's just say I don't make a whole lot of money working minimum wage. I'm not going to say how much money I make, that's totally confidential. So, I mean, I don't make a whole lot of money. So, and that's the hard part is, my parents, are currently paying my bills, and that's, for the last time I had special needs, that's the reason why. So, I'm not a high school dropout, so big ass cigar for life. So basically, I'm having this agency help me, try to find an apartment. It's kind of like, subsidized. So that's a word for subsidized. And what I was bringing up was kind of like, there's a lot of different options for me because I have disabilities. I have high functioning autism. I have bipolar. I have mental health issues. I have OCD. I have, disabilities. I have medical issues, so, and people bring up a lot of options for me. So, things like, um, things like this, the possibility of looking at like a roommate situation. We could live with, like, a roommate, living. I'm not interested in living in, like, a group home. So you get the point. So I'm interested in living independently. So, and what's interesting is they brought up like different options for like roommate situations, that kind of stuff. And one thing that's kind of a little bit not, I wouldn't use the word scary to describe it. I would use it just not the right fit. So, let's just say, while I may have some definite special needs, I am a pretty stable person. Now, I was not always like that, so you'd be very surprised if you look back at my very old videos, like very old videos from 2010, 2011. I was a very different person back then. So when I was 18, 19, 20, I'm not going to get too much into it, but that's confidential. And I was a very different person. So I wasn't, yeah, I'm on the right medication now, so I'm taking the right medication. So definitely, I am really stable right now, and that's really good because, you want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. So I know this video is 6.5 minutes long, but everyone wants to be happy. So, and I understand, eventually I have to work a full-time job, which everybody does at some point. I'm just taking things a little bit slower, step by step. So, basically, I want to talk about right now how some people who I've heard of, let's just say I know of some people who are not as stable as me. So, and what I was trying to get across to somebody who, not going to say their name, who kind of works with me, who's like a mentor towards me. So, like, a mentor. So, and these people, help me find jobs. They help me, do recreation time in the community. So, they're like a mentor to me. So, basically, they were talking about, like, how some people who are roommates are not as, like, stable as me. So, and while I will admit that I've had a very rough life as a kid, there are certain things in my life, this is the point I'm trying to get across, I know this video is way too long, so there are certain things in my life I've never had problems with. I've had a very rough life as a kid, so I've had, a lot of medical trauma in my life. I had a lot of medical disabilities. I spent a lot of time in the hospital. I've had a lot of, like, intestinal issues. I had the colostomy, which goes, so, but there are certain things in my life I've really never had problems with. So I can list them right now. So I have bipolar, which is a mood disorder. So, and thankfully I'm very stable on my medication right now. So I am very stable. I am very happy on my medication. So I went back on my medication. Big ass scarf life. So I'm very stable right now. I'm very happy, less in my head, that kind of stuff. And the point I'm trying to get across after almost, over 8 minutes of rambling is there are certain things in my life I've never really had problems with. So, including, like, really not so great, like, mental health issues. So, and let's just say there are some people who I have known of who have a lot of problems that I don't have. So, things like schizophrenia, which is a different type of mental disorder where you hear voices, you see stuff, you think people are out to get you. That's really, really scary. I mean, that's a situation I would never want to live with. I would never want to live with somebody who has schizophrenia because it's really, really scary. I mean, I hate to use the word, but it's really scary. So, it's really scary because people who have schizophrenia, they hear voices, they see stuff, they think people are out to get you. It's like people with bipolar can act pretty normal on their medication, as long as they're taking the right medication. People, or run off, people can act pretty normal on the right medication with bipolar. Same thing with schizophrenia to a certain extent. I'm not a doctor giving medical advice because you are life. But, people who have schizophrenia can act very different because it's paranoia. So, and I'm not a doctor giving medical advice, but you get the point. Also, things that I do not want to get involved with ever in my life, this is the whole point of the video after almost 10 minutes rambling, is things like drugs, things like alcohol abuse, things like getting in trouble with the law. It's something that's really never been a problem for me, and that's kind of like, I have to start blocking people with the marijuana thing because I'm getting too many rude responses. So It's like, back in, I think it was April 2016, was it? It's like this guy wouldn't leave me alone. It's like he kept saying, come on, smoke pot, dude, smoke pot. Makes a weed channel. It's like, you know what, dude, I have no interest in trying marijuana. I'm aware it's unhealthy to smoke. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo, it's unhealthy to smoke. So, but the point I'm trying to get across after 10 minutes of rambling, I know this video is way too long, is there are certain things in my life I've really never had problems with. So, I admit I am a current, everyday pipe and cigar smoker, tobacco pipe and cigar smoker. I never tried anything else, It's kind of like, there are certain things, that's why, looking at apartments, looking at different situations, living situations, you definitely want to be very careful with where you move into. So, that's just a quick story. So, I know this video is way too long. There's certain things I've had problems with in my life. I've had problems with, I am not the most healthiest person, I will admit. I'm not, super healthy. And, for the last time, it's not a gym fetish channel. It's not, like, a gay gym fetish channel. Even though I have some bodybuilders following me, also fart fetish people, big ass cigar for life. It's like, I may not be a super healthy person. Like, this is the point I'm trying to get across. I know this video is way too long. It's like, I'm not a super healthy person. I'm not, interested in being buffed out. I don't want to have six-pack abs. I never want to be in perfect shape, I always want to be a little bit overweight, a little bit chubby. So, cargo, one sec. It's like, I'm always happy with being a little bit chubby. I don't want to be like a ripped jock. I don't want to be somebody who's, ripping iron, pumping weights, talking about how big his bleeping whatever is. It's like, no. I'm just happy being chubby. It's like, I'm happy being chubby. I'm happy, having the cheeseburger occasionally. I'm happy, eating a not healthy diet. It's like, I'm very happy. I mean, I'm very happy. It's like, I'm not 400, 500 pounds by any means, but I mean, I'm happy eating predominantly carbohydrates. And I'm also happy, smoking. Some guys, big ass cigars for life. Happy with smoking. It's like, yes, look, whoop-de-doo. That saying actually comes from Austin Powers, so, by the way. It's like, whoop-de-doo, Basil. Big ass cigar for life. It's like, yes. Is it unhealthy to smoke? Yes. Smoke tobacco, that is. Obviously, it's unhealthy to smoke. It's like, there are risks involved, and I do notice, I do get a morning cough, and I do get some pretty different, like symptoms. It's like, after doing it for almost 8 years, this year's going on 8 years, I noticed some health effects, dry mouth, morning cough, that kind of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it's unhealthy probably to be, 232 pounds, so, I'm in the low 230s, so, and the reason I don't lose weight predominantly is because my diet's almost entirely carbohydrates, so I usually have an English muffin for breakfast, and I have, I eat a lot of white flour. I really shouldn't eat that because I have celiac, so. And I will start my gluten-free vlog early 2017, so. I will start my gluten-free vlog, so, video vlog. But it's like, besides the point I'm trying to make is there's certain things in my life I've never had problems with. So, I may be a current everyday pipe and cigar smoker, and my doctors always have to tell me, you really shouldn't do that. It's not good for you, can give you potential cancer someday in your point in your life. It's probably also not unhealthy to, do whatever, but the point I'm trying to get across is, even though it may be unhealthy to do these things, I don't want to live with people who are like drug addicts. And that's really the point I'm going to try to get across, is like drugs, alcohol, getting in trouble with the law, getting arrested, that kind of stuff. It's something that's really never been a problem for me in my life. It's never been a problem for me in my life. I mean, I haven't even taken a puff of a joint. I never will. So, and the only time I would ever even remotely consider it is I was deathly ill, and a doctor said, and a doctor said, listen, Evan, this is really, really the best option for you. You know, you're definitely with cancer, it's medical marijuana. That's a little bit different, you know, if you're over 21, but you know, it's kind of like, and for the last time I'm 25 and a half. So, it's like, you know, smoking tobacco is unhealthy. I understand there's a point to it, you know. It's kind of like the cigars, but kind of like a nice hobby. You know, it became a little bit of a addiction, you know. It's kind of like, you know, even though I may have some unhealthy habits, like being probably between 35 and 50 pounds overweight, you know, even though I may have some unhealthy habits like smoking big-ass cigars for life, I don't have problems with drugs, alcohol. Alcohol is something that's never been a problem for me. Drugs have never been a problem for me. Getting in trouble with the law has never been a problem for me. I've never even gotten a ticket in my life, so I don't drive. So I don't drive because I hate driving. It's like, you know, and obviously when I go in to buy my big-ass cigars, my big-ass pipe tobacco, or my, whatever, I have an ID that says I'm 25 and a half, so I have an ID that's legitimate, so my Massachusetts liquor ID. You get the point. It's like, while I may have some unhealthy habits, you know, this is what I was trying to get into with the apartment thing, is I don't know the people who are heroin addicts. It's like, that's really, really freaking scary, you know. It's like, for a better word, that's bleeping scary. So it's like, it's kind of like, you know, even though, it's kind of like, you know, even though I am, you know, have some unhealthy habits, drugs, alcohol, you know, getting arrested, that kind of stuff, it's something that's never been a problem for me. Sex, you know, I'm not currently sexually active. I'm not planning to becoming sexually active anytime soon. Dating is something that doesn't matter to me. Not saying that having a romantic relationship is a bad thing. You know, like people say, put it off for as long as possible. It's kind of like, you know, it's like, yeah, people may not be a big fan of people who are overweight, you know, because I understand it is like, you know, when you see somebody who's like really obese, not saying I'm morbidly obese by any means, it's kind of like, you know, okay, you know, I may be, you know, decently overweight, but I'm not somebody who's like 400 pounds. So the whole point trying to get across after almost 20 minutes of rambling is I may have some bad habits, but I don't want to live with people who are drug users. And that's the point, is drugs, alcohol, you know, getting arrested, that kind of stuff, something that's never been a problem for me. So that's the point. Anyway, big ass cigar flight, bye.